Hello and welcome to my review of the Space Marine Apothecary Biologist or Biologist for Space Marines for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Currently the only way to pick up this Biologist is through the Leviathan main game box set. You can't pick him up in any of the other sort of starter sets, which does suck, and most likely when they do release him separately it's probably going to be about £24. At the end of the day, he is an apothecary in Gravis armour, pretty hench, so that will set you back £150 at the moment. The format of this review will be as usual. We'll have a closer look at the Biologist, and then we will not look at the spare parts because there aren't any, but we will go through some size comparisons and then finally quite an exhaustive look at all of the rules for him. So first things first, let's have a look at him. He's pretty hench, as I said. He's in this big Gravis armour. He's going to be a big white blob on the battlefield. You know, he's got this scenic base which adds a bit more height to him as if he needed it. He's got this big canister thing, probably for samples and things. He's got this awesome looking heavy bolt pistol. He's got this like lens. He's got the narthecium or whatever it is with the flashlight and a mini chain blade. He's got the Medicae sort of symbols, vials, purity seals. He's got his little wrist-mounted computer readout screen thing. He's got this cabling that goes into this canister, which seems a bit odd. I mean, I kind of think it's a bit odd that there's cables connected to his armor to this, so it's almost like he has to carry that around all the time because it's connected to his suit. He's got his holster, very nice. Got the Medicae symbol there with the eagle. Got this extra magnification or whatever that would be for samples. He's got a few tools there, but because it's plastic, they're a bit kind of blended in to his cloak thing. And then the actual base itself has got a few empty casings, a few bits of cabling and some kind of growth and a bit of a sewage pipe, but on the whole I think he's pretty good. Nice looking model. So that's the Biologist, so we'll put him there, and as I say, no spare parts with this Biologist, so we will look at some size comparisons straight away. And first thing I want to do is just compare him to other models in the set. So straight up, we've got the Captain in Terminator armour, we've got the Librarian Terminator armour, and then we've got the Lieutenant. So he is a big boy. I would say he's the second largest out of the Space Marines, mainly because of that big scenic base. If we put him on par with the Terminator Captain, he's actually about the same size, which is quite nice. He's bigger than the Librarian in Terminator armour by a good chunk, again mainly due to that scenic base and the Gravis armour, and then he does dwarf the Lieutenant a little bit. So second largest model for Space Marines, well obviously other than this big boy, the Ballistus Dreadnought, and that's how he compares to that. He's gonna be bigger than your other Gravis Space Marines that you have in your force, again because of that scenic base. Comparing him to Tyranid models, so I think he's actually, no, not quite as big as the Prime. Prime's just a little bit taller. But he's close. He's close up there. Next to the Screamer Killer, quite chunky. Next to a Screamer Killer, and then we also have, I want to call it a Psychophage, is it? This big creature as well. Compared to like normal Terminator even, he is bigger than a normal Terminator because of that scenic base. Like if they're on the same footing, it'd be very similar size. So that just gives you an idea of like Gravis armour compared to these new Terminators. Gravis armour Space Marines will feature in my sort of Terminator size review video that I'm looking forward to release soon. But yeah, that's where he stands up, measures up. And then we've got some older sort of minis now. Legacy Space Marine absolutely dwarfs the Legacy Space Marine, even with that scenic base. It's just not even, they don't kind of look like they're in the same game system anymore. And Slime Marbo barely comes up to the chest. And a normal Primaris Space Marine, given that scenic base, again, just comes up to the Gorget. But if we put them sort of side by side, they're going to be the same size. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Apothecary Biologist. So to start off with, he will only cost you 55 points, which I think is a pretty good deal for what you get. His stat line is a movement of 5 inches. He's a toughness of 6 because of that Gravis armor. Save of 3+, 5 wounds, leadership 6+, and an objective control of 3. It's quite a decent stat line already. Range weaponry, he's got an Absolver bolt pistol, which is an 18-inch range, 1 attack, 3+ to hit, strength of 5, AP -1, damage 2. That's quite a solid pistol there. The melee weapon, he just disarmed with a close combat weapon. Yeah, bit odd. I would have liked to have seen some kind of extra abilities there with the close combat weapons, with the saws and the blades and things that they can, you know, cause a bit more damage. So melee weapon, 4 attacks, 3+ to hit, weapon skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. He does have a few abilities. So he is a core leader. The leader can attach to a bodyguard unit. While a bodyguard unit contains a leader, it's known as an attached unit, and so on and so on. Also has the faction ability Oath of Moment, whereby an attack that targets an enemy unit, you can reroll, hit roll, and reroll the wound roll. Datasheet abilities, it's got surgical precision. So while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the lethal hits ability. Unfortunately, on the app, you can't just press lethal hits, which really sucks. And it means that you have to, even though you've got the data sheet and the supposed rules here on the free data sheet, you're then going to have to find a book or search into the core rules at lethal hits ability. Also has a Vivid Spectrum. If this model's unit destroys an enemy unit as a result of a melee attack, until the end of that battle, this model has an objective control characteristic of 9. Very, very nice. So, you know, it just has to destroy an enemy unit in melee attack to get that objective control of 9. It's a bit cheeky that, but the leader, so this model can be attached to the following units: an aggressor squad, eradicator squad, or heavy intercessor squad. I personally put him in a heavy intercessor squad. You can attach this model to one of the above units even if one captain or chapter master model has already been attached to it. If you do and that bodyguard unit is destroyed, the leader units attached to it become separate units with their original starting strengths. Got no war gear options. Obviously it's equipped with Absolver bolt pistol, close combat weapons, and the keywords is infantry, character, Imperium, Gravis, Apothecary Biologist, Adeptus Astartes. So there you go. That is the Apothecary Biologist. It's lackluster. Yeah, you're getting the lethal hits ability. If I just type in lethal hits, a critical hit automatically wounds the target. Okay, so that may well be worth it, getting a critical hit, and that's when you're hitting on 6s. So, you know, this apothecary will make any hit rolls of a 6 become automatic wounds, which is a nice buff, and the objective control of 9 is also a good buff. I just wish there were more rules for him. Something to do with like saves or harvesting a gene seed or just something extra. Yeah, he's quite cheap points, you know, 55 points or so. Even the normal Primaris Apothecary had a Narthessium, which you can return 1 destroyed model, excluding character models. That would have been fantastic, and that's one of, I'd actually argue that would be better to return 1 destroyed model, especially if they've got a couple of wounds or something, like they're a aggressor. Gene seed recovery as well. When the bodyguard's unit is destroyed on a 2+ you gain 1 command point. That's quite nice too. But yeah, for this apothecary, not to have the Narthessium is, and not really to have anything to do with him being an apothecary, is a bit lackluster. So nice looking model, will go very well with your heavy intercessors of course, but lackluster in the rules. What do you guys think of this apothecary? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.